Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to day one of the 31 days of doodling with the NYC Planner Addicts and the amazing Anna from Anna the shop. I am going to walk you through my interpretation of her workshop this morning, where she went over some of her process on doing the daily doodle, and then I will talk a little bit about the affirmation and do a journaling spread that kind of goes along with the doodle and the affirmation. Can I say I'm like a tiny bit nervous because on the spread, I'm gonna do like my version of her doodle, and I feel like I'm not ready. Like I can draw a little bit, but I'm so like humbled by like the way she makes her doodles look so easy. So be gentle with me. I hope that I do the doodle justice. And as I say, I'm nervous. I'm also like a little bit excited because I had not like drawn like my own version of like a doll or any type of representation before on a journaling spread, and I'm kind of excited to see how it comes out. As I'm starting, I don't really have a clear idea about what my background will look like, but I'm going to go with it and see what happens as we fill in the doodle. Bear with me, I just want to adjust my light a little bit. Okay, so here we go. We're on day one, and I love how the affirmations go so well with the doodles that she's done for every day. Today's affirmation is abundant creativity is already present within me. So you can see the woman, she's kind of like holding her heart. So like I imagine that the creativity is kind of stemming outward from within her. It absolutely is. And I just want to adjust my pencils a little bit. So I have watercolor pencils here. And what I'm going to do is further embellish the doodle that she's provided us with, and then I'll write a little bit in answering the journaling prompt, and then I will go with the 2-page spread. So here she is. I kind of like that. I don't know if Anna drew this purposely like that, but it kind of looks like she's already wearing a hijab, so I kind of want to shade that in a little bit to make it look more apparent, and then I'm gonna do maybe a couple of facial features. That's probably the part that has me most nervous, like drawing in the facial features. So we will see how it comes out. So I'm pulling out a couple of colors. So I have 2 green pencils. And I got a black and I have a red. I also want to give her like blush so that she kind of has rosy cheeks. So I have a pink for that. And I'll start like sketching in more detail with my watercolor, my brush. I have some, I've got some water here and some brushes. So I'm going to start with the watercolor pencils, and then I will blend it out to soften those lines. So I'm going to start with her hijab. I'm going to have it be green. I'm going to like kind of complete it on the other side. And I want to have it a little bit, maybe have a little deeper green line here. Maybe this can kind of drape down. And maybe this is like an ombre scarf too, so let's see how that goes. Next, I'm going to give her a little bit more features. I'm going to darken the lines here. Maybe she's sitting on a rug too. That's fun. She could kind of be meditating. Maybe the rug kind of has like tassels. And her outfit could be maybe like another color green. So when Anna had done hers, she had like, she looked like she had not like an aura, but well, for lack of a better term, it was an aura. There was definitely like something radiating from her. So I would like to include that as well. Let's say that her creativity is here, and it's yellow. Yellow is my favorite color. So there's like the creativity, and the creativity is just kind of coming out. I'm going to make these lines longer on this side. And maybe even with that creativity radiating out, maybe there's like some additional color, like pink. Why not, right? So I'm gonna kind of like shade some pink. I have no idea how that will blend when I get to blending it, but we'll see. I'm gonna add a little bit more yellow. Maybe the pink could like alternate. And I did say I wanted to give her like a blush, like a very rosy glow here. I'm going to shade her skin in a little bit. I think I should start like blending the colors in before I get too detailed. So I'm going to go with I have like a very small detail brush, and I'm going to start with the face, I think, because that's what I was most concerned about. I don't want her face to start getting muddy with all the color. So I'm blending this. So like those rosy cheeks are kind of looking like a little wash. And then I'm going to start blending those rays that look like they're coming out from her. If you had any questions about the type of paper this is a 28-pound printer paper, and I chose it because it's a little bit thicker, and I wanted something to hold up to the different medium that I would use. I'm using watercolor today. I think that other days I might use gelatos because I love those, working with them, and then I might switch back and forth between marker and maybe highlighters or pens for some simple drawings. Okay, so I'm liking that. I'm going to try to soften this line between the yellow and the pink, where those meet. That yellow is really fun. Like it's popping out a lot. I hope that's coming through on the camera, but it's almost like an old school highlighter yellow, and I really like that effect. Okay, so now that that is blended out, I'm going to let's blend the rug that she's sitting on. I think I want to go over this with pen, just to add a little bit more detail once I'm done. I will blend her her hijab, and then I'll go in and I'll color in her whole outfit. Okay, so the two greens are looking pretty good. It's kind of blending together. There's some light spots, there's some dark spots. I'm liking how it looks. And then let's blend that yellow where her hands are, so there's like the creativity radiating outward. I'm gonna try to have that go outward even, and then I'm gonna color in the rest of her outfit with I'm gonna go in with this green. It's kind of like a Kelly green. I'm going to do this lightly because the paper is like a tiny bit wet. And I'll see if this can blend in with that yellow that's really coming out of her chest. Okay, so now that that's done, I would like to take a pen. I've got a red pen, and I'll see how these watercolors, pencils, they tend to dry pretty quickly. Just testing how dry this is. It's still a little bit wet. I'm going to go in and draw in some further features with some pen, and maybe make the line a little bit stronger. But sorry, I just seem to be dropping stuff all over the place. While I'm waiting, I will start talking about the journaling portion. So in the printable planner, we have, there's this great area where you can embellish the doodle that Anna has so graciously provided for us. And then here you could do a couple of things. You could maybe copy the doodle over in this spot. You could journal in this spot, or you can write your notes about the day, whatever you want. There's no limits to what you can do with this area. What I'll do is make a couple of notes and like a brief outline of what I'm going to journal about in my more expansive spread. So the question here is, what inspires you? Oh, and I also really enjoy writing over that prompt so that I can keep that at the forefront of my mind when I'm doing the spread. So the prompt is, or the affirmation is, abundant creativity is already present within me. So I'm gonna take like a pen. I think I'm just looking for like a really pretty color. I'll use this green one, and I'm gonna write about what in I'm gonna write over the affirmation. So the affirmation is abundant creativity is already present within me. And then I will do a small bullet point list on what inspires me. So I could say the following things inspire me. And a colon, so I could say nature. And especially lately, I've been taking so many pictures and keeping them in mind for like backgrounds and embellishments or drawings that I could add to my journaling. Then I could say books. And for books, it would be like books with beautiful language, like where the scene is described so well. And then on that, like with beautiful language, I don't know if I spelled that right. I would say like words. Like I really love a good use of language and a great word choice, and like translating that to art. So those are the things that inspire me. And then like people, like working with great people or having wonderful conversations. Those things inspire me as well. So now I'm going to test this again. It's drier, so I'm going to go in with some. I wanted to go in with some pen. I just want to see how thick that line is, and maybe I'll draw like a mouth here. I think so there's her mouth, and maybe she can have some eyes as well. I'm gonna go with maybe this is like a teal kind of color. I'm gonna draw in like a nose too. kind of some eyebrows. So there, like, her face is definitely taking a little bit more shape. It would be so interesting to draw like a little, maybe like a little heart here, or like a light bulb. Maybe like a tiny light bulb. So like her creativity is like ideas. So there's my light bulb. It kind of has a weird shape. It looks a little bit more like an Edison bulb, but okay, I'm going to leave this like that, and now I'm going to go into creating a background, and then like recreating my doodle on this spread. So I want to keep her here because she's kind of my inspiration. I want my background to pull in a lot of these colors. So the colors that I had were like that deep green. I kind of have like a lot of yellow going on, the lighter green, and I think I want to do get a little bit more mixed media-y in this background, and pull in some gelatos and then use the colored pencils over it. My thought process is that like the colored pencils have a very small footprint. It will take a while to kind of cover this all with the colored pencils, or with their watercolor pencils. And then if I blended them in, it might make the paper a little too wet. And gelatos dry a lot faster, and I can also cover more area with them than I can with the colored pencils. So I like that there looks like there's rays coming from her. So I think I'll do rays as that background look. And then I can doodle her like in the corner. I love how this yellow that I chose, it's a very bright yellow. It's almost looks like a highlighter again. So I think that will look really great. So now I'm going to get to blending. And then I'll add a little bit more detail and draw her in, probably with going back in with the colored pencils. So I'm just going to get a makeup wipe. When I blend the gelatos, I use makeup wipes because that's what I have. A lot of people that have young children get the baby wipes, or you could use like those toilet paper wipes as well if you have them, but really use what's on hand. Okay, so my yellow is not blending out that well. I'm getting a little concerned. I do have, I kind of have like a brush that I can use. I'm going to pull that and see if it blends that yellow a little bit more than I like. Like I'm still getting like a lot of the harsh line, and I want it to look very soft. This is working a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way so that I don't get it wet. And so this is a paintbrush. It's a foam tipped paintbrush. I like using this as well when I'm blending in large areas. And sometimes different tools work better when you're blending. Okay, so see this one is not blending that well, so I'm gonna wet this paintbrush a little bit more. Sometimes when the gelatos dry out, you may need to add more water to it. Just the ability to add a little bit more water while keeping like that same amount of control that I like. Okay, so now I'm blending out the darker colors, and that's the green in this case. I'm also like kind of going back and doing like a sweep so that I can get the colors to be blended together. It's getting a little bit more water. Okay, and then doing like one last sweep so I can get like that nice wash of color. Okay, so now I have that wash of color. Since I did use the brush, my paper is a little bit more wet than it would be if I used that wipe. But that's okay because I am going in with that watercolor pencil, and since the paper is wet, the watercolor pencil will activate on the paper faster. So I'm coming back in with my doodle as the reference, and this is a simple line drawing. I'm going to draw Anna's base lines first, and then I'm going to go in with my additional embellishment, and I'm going to go with black as the baseline because I want this to kind of show through all of my additional shading. Let me just position this here so that I can see it. Alright, so she had these two lines here as kind of being under her armpits. She had the two hands were here. Let me draw this other hand. There's the other hand. She kind of had her shoulder was coming down into her elbow. That's the same on the other side. And then she had her neck. There is her, like the side of her head. And there's the other side. You see that this side is bigger, so I might draw her in reverse, and maybe she's facing this way towards the middle of the page. Okay, so there's her ear. She has like the top here. There is her top of her head. And I'm going to draw it as if she's wearing like a scarf, so it's kind of like going around. And maybe her scarf is like, I don't know, like flying in the wind. Alright, I'm taking liberties already. Okay, so then she has her hands. I'm gonna kind of like keep this open. I'm not gonna draw her hands on mine. So then she has like her hips are coming down and her legs are crossed. I'm doing this line very lightly because I'm still a little bit unsure of myself, and I don't want that black pencil to be too harsh. Okay, so I'm coming around. So there's where her legs are kind of like intersecting. Here's her other leg. I'm going to keep it like this because I'm a little bit afraid that I'm going to smudge this. But I'm going to maybe like draw her rug. Maybe her rug is like going this way. And there's tassels on the rug. Maybe there's some tassels going that way as well. And now I'm going to go in with like the color and the details. So I'm going to say that she's wearing a green dress or green outfit. I'm going to color this in. And then I'll come in with my brush and blend it a little bit, but my brush is going to be very dry because, again, like this paper is pretty wet. But it's great because you can see how the pencil acts differently now on the wet paper. So I'm going to color in her hijab now. I just thought, what if she had like red flowers or something like in her hijab? What if it was maybe like some like red design here, and then like the rest of it was green? And I'm going to take this pink, I'll give her some blush. And I'll put some red in those pink flowers too. Just to give it a little bit of dimension. And then we'll go in with a little bit more green. And you can see like that color is blending really well because that paper is still so wet. I might put a little bit of green here. Maybe we could get some more definition with that dress color. I'm just kind of coloring it in very loosely. I do want to have, maybe this could be like her heart. And there is the creativity like blooming from her. So I'm getting my fine tipped brush again. I'm going to try to get it as dry as possible, a little bit damp. I want the colors to blend, but you know the paper is already pretty wet. So I just want to just get a little bit of control and like have this blended a little bit without compromising like the paper. I don't want the paper to start picking up. Sometimes that happens. And I still want to be able to blend this and get that coverage of color. I'm going to blend in the heart a little bit. I think that once this is dry, I'm going to go over it with some acrylic marker so I can get like bold lines, you know, coming out of that. that radiating creativity. So now I'm going to blend in. I'm going to blend the pink first because I don't want to muddy up the pink with the green, and then I'm going to blend in the green around it. Okay, so now my brush is dry. I'm going to go around to try to blend in that green. So you can see I still have like a lot of that black is there from my initial drawing, but really the color is taking over with that shape. And the black works to kind of darken the those colors, like the greens and the pinks. We're getting some shadow here with that black. So I'm gonna try to like soften my black line a little bit. So I said I was nervous at the beginning of this live, but now I'm feeling more comfortable. I'm really liking the way she's coming out. I never did anything like this before, so I'm pleasantly surprised with this doodle. Now I'm going to color in the rug that she's sitting on. Again, it's going to be very green. I'm going to pull in just some different colors of green. Maybe this khaki could look good. And I'm just kind of like, I'm thinking that her rug is like kind of striped. So I'm just like coloring alternate stripes of color here. And then I'm going to go in with a slightly thicker brush. Again, I'm going to keep it as just like damp. I don't want it to be very wet because the paper is already still pretty wet. So I'm just going to kind of like go back and forth to soften the line. But you can see there's distinct patches of different colors. Okay, so there she is. Like I said, I'm going to put acrylic marker on top, I think. Now that she's pretty set, I want to leave her alone, let her dry a little bit more. I'm going to put these pencils away. I'm going to grab some acrylic marker, and we will add, oh, you know what? I forgot to kind of like blend in her face. I'm going to leave her like featureless. I do like the blush. I'm going to give it a little bit of color here. And give her like that blush. I'm not confident in my facial feature drawing, so I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. I'm very happy with the way that her body turned out, but I'm going to not be too ambitious today since it's my first day doing this. And I hope that like by the end of this month I will be more adept at doing those facial features. Okay, so I'm kind of going around. I think I want to give her some darker shading around her face with a darker brown, and then kind of get the blush a little bit more. Okay, so the darker brown would be like just around the edge. And use a little bit of a darker pink for her blush. Well, that's a little dark because the paper was wet. So I'm going to dry off my brush as much as I can and just see if I can blend this color out. Okay, so that color is blending really well. I'm going to blend it like across her nose a little bit. I tend to, if I get like a suntan, it's my cheeks and my nose that get red. So I'm just going to kind of follow that shape. Going to kind of carry this brown a little bit inward. Okay, so I like how that looks. You know, stop playing with her. Again, I don't want to get the paper too wet. But I'm going to go in now with like a simple border. And I think maybe like we're going with like maybe a green, a gold, and let's do a pink. So I'm going to do the green first. So these are acrylic markers. And I'm going to do like a wavy line very lightly. So it kind of gives, it's whimsical to go along with that drawing. And then I'll follow it around the corner. Okay, so bear with me, I'm left-handed, so I kind of have to go at it from this direction. Okay, so there's my border, and I'm just going to move this. Maybe we can do another wavy line with gold. Okay, so I've got my gold. And I'm going to follow that wavy line direction, but I kind of want them to overlap a little bit to kind of like keep with that whimsical feel. Okay, so that's done. Do I dare with another color? I've got the pink in my hand. Maybe I can do like pink dots. So I put 4 up here. I'm not sure if I'm happy with the way that looks. I think I need a darker pink or a different pink, maybe like a deep pink or like a magenta. So I'm going to go to my acrylic marker stash. I have this pink. I think this is, so this looks like a deep pink, but the color is coming out very light. And I don't really have a magenta. I have a red. I don't want to use purple. I strictly want pink. So I have these two. They're from a different brand, but they're still acrylic markers. So I'm going to try this pink first. This one looks to be a little bit deeper. It's deeper, but it's like the same. Okay, it's not as deep as I want. Okay, so here we go. Here's the magenta. There's like the color payoff that I'm looking for. So like this random smattering of dots. I may do something with that. I'm not sure. I'm gonna put like a dark magenta dot in the center of these pink dots that I had already done. And I'm gonna kind of follow them like down this line, and then I'm gonna put some dots kind of going across this way. So this looks very simple, and I really like how it looks. I want to go ahead and add in my quote, or my affirmation here. And probably the best place for it would be here, so then I could kind of obfuscate these extra dots that I don't love. So the quote is, abundant creativity is already present within me, and I can probably do this with this with an acrylic marker. Yeah, let's do that. So I've got the acrylic marker. I'm going to take these two colors. I have the pink and then the darker pink. So I'm going to write it out with the lighter pink first, and then I'll embellish it a little bit with the dark pink. I'm going to do this in cursive. Okay, so this light pink is too light. I'm going to pull in kind of that mid-tone pink. I think this would look cool if I put me like in big bold caps. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Maybe like big block letters. Alright, then I'm going to go in with that magenta. Just kind of shadow the down strokes to give it a little bit more interest. And if you can brush letter, this type of spread would look amazing. And then for me, maybe we could do like some diagonal lines here to decorate that a little bit more. And maybe I'll do an exclamation point. I think that's a strong statement. Alright, so there's our spread for today. I love how she came out. That looks pretty good. This part of the spread is dry. I'm gonna add, maybe I'll just do like a couple of rays coming out from the center, like following the colors here with my green marker. Okay, I'll leave this part alone. And I've got a yellow marker just to add in a couple more of the yellow rays. You just want to kind of put them like in between the green dashed lines. All right, so that came out pretty good. I'm happy with the way that it looks. So I'll leave off here, and I will come back in and journal what inspires me in further detail on this page. Let us know how you're doing with, oh, hi Jody. Let us know how you're doing with this challenge. I would love to see everybody's rendition of this beautiful little doodle. And I can definitely see when I did this myself as opposed to here my first draft, if you will. I love how the second draft came out. Yeah, I want to hear from you guys. How are you doing with this challenge? If you have any questions for me or for Anna, please let us know. Tag us in your versions of this. And I look forward to the next 30. Yeah, because we just did one day. I look next to the next 30 days. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.